Hey, tubers and footers. Let's have some pillow talk. Well, I'm stuck in bed, so that's kind of what we're going to have to do today. Well, hopefully I can get out of this thing, but we'll see. We'll see. But I do want to discuss suicide and depression, and that is a topic that is not really discussed in many rings because it's just one of those taboo topics for some reason. But a lot of professional athletes, when they are no longer able to compete or become bedridden, go through an entirely different psychological process, and a lot of them tend to commit suicide because our identities are directly attached to our physical abilities. And when we can no longer do those things, our identities take a hit, and there's a process of where we feel like our bodies have betrayed us, and that is hard when you've been in this communication with your body for so long and you've trained it and it's responded so well, and then all of a sudden it just decides it doesn't want to play anymore. It's hard to become bedridden. It just is not a process that athletes can deal with because there's a lot of mind over matter that we've already gone through, the pain and everything in training, and just in any sport, the physical endurance involved. It just feels like a brick wall that you can't overcome, and when you have to change your identity because of it, I can understand why so many people give in and just don't know where to go. And maybe that is something we need to provide, is this alternative route for people when they've reached these brick walls in life. Because it's not just professional athletes. There are people suffering all over the world for many different reasons. And I think tolerance has been lost in humanity, and we no longer can put ourselves in one another's shoes truly and try and understand how someone has gotten to the place that they are. And so I just would like to open up the discussion and get people talking amongst themselves and with those that they love to avoid these dangerous places that people can go in their minds. And humanity hasn't been taught how to communicate well, which is, it's a skill. It really is a skill. And because of that, there's so much fighting and hate. And if we just took a moment to step back and understand that everybody is on their own journey and no one's path is the same, and we need to provide an avenue for more discussion and communication, because I've watched in so many different areas where people no longer communicate just because they disagree. And I feel like we're sliding backwards as a society, as a species, and we're starting to repeat history. And one of the common things that I keep saying is we are rinsing and repeating catastrophic failures without recognizing the insanity of it all. You know, we just keep rinsing and repeating, rinsing and repeating. And one of the things that we should do individually is just look at how we speak with one another and communicate with one another, and really look at that as, like, I've noticed there are people in the world who disagree just because they want to argue and they want to fight, and there's no true intellectual stimulating conversation taking place. No one's going forward. There's just this anger built up. And so projection and lashing out and all of that tends to happen without recognizing that it's taking place. And so I think we need to be more gentle and kinder with one another, and really come to a point where it's okay that we disagree. It's okay that we have different of opinions. That's okay. What should be valued is our respect for one another and ourselves. And we should really try harder at finding things we can agree on instead of focusing so much on what we don't agree on. And maybe that is a way to step forward out of this chaos by design, because that's where we're at. When our free will has been manipulated so much as it has because of all of the commercialism, they've tried to make consumers out of everybody. And in that, we've been force-fed so much hypnotic trance state suggestive material that our free will has been hijacked. And we need to really step back as humans and reconsider what we value. And we're at a crossroads. We are really at a crossroads. Like, everybody keeps talking about Armageddon, but do we really want to go there? Like, the people that believe they're put on this planet to bring upon Armageddon, those people fear me, or they don't fear, I'm sorry, that's what concerns me the most, is someone who fully believes that it is their purpose to bring upon Armageddon. And I just want to ask, it is 2021. Is this the best we can do with all we have at our disposal? So why aren't we? Let's start having those discussions. I mean, people give up, and suicide rates are going through the roof. If we don't have something to look forward to, that's when people give up. And people are giving up because they have nothing to look forward to anymore. And those that are in power, those that have had all the power, all the money, all the control, this is the best they could do with everything that they've had. There's a lot of generational wealth that's out there that has oppressed much of the intellect just because that is how they make money, and that's the only way they may make money. So they will continue to hold humanity back just so they can maintain their wealth and power. And we really need to start having these discussions with ourselves, with what we want to accomplish as a species. Because in my 50 years of life, I have watched the narrative keep reaching and repeating over and over and over again. And at some point, we need to snap out of it and realize we can do so much better. Knowledge should not be locked away. We have wars and this tribal mentality that takes place in all, even all the way down to like minor little communities in different areas. Just pick an area and you will find that this infighting takes place and where there's common ground. Look at religion. Look at how many people cannot agree on the Bible. How many different religions there are off of one book. At some point, we as a species need to stop and think and reconsider what we are actually doing with our time and where we want to go. I think if more people looked into the Venus Project and what Jack Fresco had designed, and out of years and his lifetime of research into why humans do what we do, maybe, just maybe, we can get out of this narrative that has held us back for so long. We don't have to keep doing this just because it's always been that way. We can do something different, and we should. We have so much technology at our disposal. We are at a crossroads. As a species, we can either keep going backwards because it's comfortable, or we can actually start going forward and rethinking why we do things, our motives. What is inspiring us to do what we do? Are people fighting just because they want to fight? Are people holding back society just because that's the only way they know how to make money? We have potential and opportunity available. It's just what we choose to do with it. Maybe we should start having these discussions with where we are going as a society. Because this is not sustainable, and we all can recognize that. And that is why suicide is so prevalent. We really can do this so much better, and we all know it. So why don't we? Why don't we? Those are the questions we really, really need to dig hard and start doing some soul searching and looking in that mirror and really, really reflecting on why we do what we do, what motivates us, what is really, really pushing us, and how we can do this so much better, even on just an individualistic level, how we communicate with one another. Can we offer an opportunity to just listen? Most people are hearing what one another are saying, but they're not listening. And maybe if we just stop and listen, we might learn something. All right, enough pillow talk for the day. See you later, tubers and footers.